Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and also I'm true speaker, healer, energy worker, guide, mentor, co-creator, galactic ambassador from Pleiadians. And joining me is beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous Morganne Rayne, spiritual consultant, gratefully providing access to high dimensions of being. Morgan has been called the healer of healers as a way to describe unique spiritual tools she shares. Morgan is here to serve those who seek great understanding of their sacred spiritual self, have deep desire to integrate the consciousness in the 3D world. So, hello, 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 Morgan. We
Hello.
again, only two of us.
Yep, today there's
Hey,
only yep, our Jeannie is taking care of herself today, which isn't that a powerful move, right? It's like when you recognize that really the highest thing you can do is care for self. It's
I
beautiful.
think at the moment we really need talk about caring for self. Before show, we sort of pull couple cards and that's what was on the cards really to caring for yourself
Yep.
and slowing down. So maybe we today um, speak about slowing down and how it's autumn and you always talking about we need to calm down, we need to drop off everything what we don't need in this time of year.
Yes.
So
And I look to, and again, we're now moved into the autumn part of our lives, right? Cyclically, we're in that place. And what is autumn all about? It's about gathering in the harvest. So if we are looking at, you know, being in the cycle of life, this is a time to really relax because the seeds were already planted, the growth has already happened, and now like all the great work we've done, the shadow work, the awakening, the remembering. This is the time of the harvest where we allow the fruit of our labor, the fruit of our inner work, the fruit of our moving forward to just come, just be present, to be, um, to make itself known. And it's an important concept when we look at, because people forget to harvest, right? They keep doing and doing and doing and doing. And there's a point where it's like the doing is not helping. It's just that's the my worth is because of my doing concept, right? Rather than my value, my worth is because I simply am. And that's that the capacity to just stop and just rest in everything that you have done and give thanks for everything that is done. This is a time of Thanksgiving. That's why, we celebrate that holiday around this time of giving thanks for the bounty, giving thanks for the labor, giving thanks to the land, and to wake that up in consciousness. So this is the time to accumulate the bounty, and I love this time of year. The other thing too is this is a time of letting go what doesn't belong to you, just like the trees. They the tree it's the same story, because the trees put forth those beautiful leaves, and they're like interacting with the sun and doing their chemical magic, and they're breathing out oxygen and we're breathing out carbon dioxide, and we have that symbiotic relationship with the trees. Well, this is the time the leaves are done. They've done their job, and now they let go. The trees let go and go also into that state of rest, that state of dormancy. And to follow these cycles is so powerful. So, I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's exactly. It is because uh, I find myself, I more feel that if I'm doing, then I'm worth something. If I'm not doing something, yeah, then oh my God, I'm not worth anything.
Oh my God. And you know how many people have that particular strategy running in their lives? So this is a beautiful time to like consider letting that go, right? That your value is because you are. But then of course, I'll go back. We've been trained to believe that our value is in what we do, right? So like when you meet somebody, well, what do you do? It's like that is not the correct question to ask a being when you meet someone. It's like because you are reinforcing the concept that your value is by what you do, not because you are a living presence of the divine here in human form. Right?
I don't think that anyone who you meet, random people in the world, would be able to understand. I am sort of just I am who I am, and I'm presence of God on earth. Yeah, I don't think that would be answer which go down well with the people.
Yeah, well, maybe it's time for the people to hear those words so it begins to resonate within their being, help them remember that who they are is not about what they do, it's about their consciousness. It's about, and we can all become better, right? I work towards, my prayers in the morning is awaken my heart, soften my heart. um, I'm always looking to be more in alignment with love and peace and plenty. I'm always been that, and that's a daily practice of doing that, right? um, but my value is not what I do in the world. My value is my consciousness, my willingness to align with a softened heart, a loving heart, a conscious mind, an awakened mind. That's my work. And when we look at life a little bit differently in that, we begin to walk more in harmony with our sacred spiritual selves, which is what we're waking up to here, that we're not slaves. And, I know we live in a world that there's that consciousness because humans have been enslaved for a long time, but we're beginning to wake up. And that's part of what you and I do, right? We have that awareness within us, and it's still work because we're still climbing out of that. I'll share with the viewers a little bit of what happened my last few weeks when I went to on my journey. My journey was all about, and I went with my sister, which was a very beautiful, connected experience of love and uh, this lovely, because we didn't come from a connected family, but she and I are in that um, mode of we're going to be connected, right? It's a choice, and because we chose that, we choose to love one another, we choose to respect one another, we choose to be curious about one another. That's all a choice. And so this family piece comes round to, well, we'll nurture our families, we connect with our families. And so um, the journey that I was just on the last few weeks was my sister and I to go scatter our mother's ashes in the land of her ancestors, and to bring back that awareness and that consciousness of connection, because she didn't have that. She was very far removed from her ancestors. And so who she became was pretty fragmented, because she didn't have that thread of continuity of the ancestors. What she got was the rolling over of humans as collateral in being useful to a body of somebody that believed that humans were their possessions, that they could be told what to do. So, as my mother comes from indigenous people, and the indigenous have their ways. Part of that ways is the cycles of life, which I totally resonate with. So we did that. And what I say is we probably woke up the ancestors because, because we went to several places. We went to where she had been born to bring her back to the place of her birth. We brought her to where some of her older ancestors had been. Some she knew, some she never knew. And then we brought her to where her mother had been buried, and her sister had been buried. And we did ceremonies in all of those places, and we evoked the consciousness of the ancestors, and we gave thanks to the ancestors. Well, how many people go do that, right? But it's in that consciousness and awareness of bringing back unity, to bring back that consciousness of the bond of family, which has been really torn apart in society. You see that tearing apart of family. So when you make a conscious, aware choice to be family, to be in that place of love and caring and curiosity and nurturance as family, your whole life can change. Your connection to what's real becomes more deepened. And in that journey, where we probably woke up all those ancestors, we got guided in some incredibly powerful ways. And it led us right into an entire family of who we are related to, into an entire indigenous culture that we are part of. And the walking into that was like ethereal and otherworldly, and and those pieces are still integrating. But when we walked into that consciousness and that awareness of an entire village of people that we are related to in very close ways, everything we did made sense at that point, right? Our commitment to the family, our commitment to bringing and walking with the ways of the ancestors, um, and it evolved in such a beautiful, mystical way. You could see the hand of Great Spirit, of Source, guiding and nurturing and bringing this beautiful piece together. One of the elders in that community said many times to me, Great Spirit brought you to us. Great Spirit has brought you to us. And it's like, yes, but it's our commitment to what is real and good. And it's that nurturance of connectedness and understanding from where you come, so you can understand who you are. It's very important. So, for our listeners, what are you committed to? Are you committed to disconnectedness? Are you committed to I'm right, they're wrong? What are you committed to? And take a look at where your alignment is with those important things like relationships. Um, Relationships in our day and age seem to be very disposable. And actually, even when I say that, it brings a great sadness to my heart, because every being is sacred. Every being, even if they're little stinkers out there in the world, um, they're still divine beings. And for us to continue to remember that about everyone, especially those people in our families that we might be struggling with, in, choices they make. And, we can get very opinionated as to what we think is right for another human. And, and we try to prevent them from making mistakes, but that's not our job to do. Our job is to witness, support, be curious, love, be present for. And that is the epitome of being a sacred human, uh, when we can accomplish those things.
It sounds like wonderful journey. Sad but wonderful journey for you.
No, not sad in the way that's traditionally called sad. It was closure of old stories. It was rewriting new stories of connectedness and unitedness. And so, in some ways, I guess it was, you know, sad to, realize we have, released our mother, but it was actually joyful. It really was. It was joyful, because it was like we brought her back with we just didn't dig a hole in the ground somewhere and say goodbye, mom. No, it was very purposeful in bringing that, um, connectedness back to her land, to her ancestors, and then to walk into, after we had done all of that, such an incredible divine connection of relatedness with an indigenous tribe, and then to be welcomed in, scooped up, embraced, loved like you've never felt love before, and to be told that you're alive in their hearts now. It's like you can't get much more connected than that. And so that part of it is beautiful. uh, it's it's also a growing edge, because I've never experienced that before. And I wish for everyone that they can have that kind of experience of just total acceptance of who. Nobody asked me what I did when I was at the Pueblo. They didn't say, well, what do you do for a living? No one asked me that, right? It's like they know what's important. They, and of course you get around to how you live in your world and what you do, and they love it, what I am and what I offer in the world. It's a lot like who they are. Um, so
Who are they? What? Okay, you can't ask what they do, but what's their actually view of life?
these are Puebloan people, and Puebloan people are mostly in New Mexico. There's 19 Pueblos, 19 Pueblos that, suffered many of the tragedies that happened, and I'll tell you a little bit of the journey here. Um,
Hmm.
so Puebloan people were always very connected. They were agrarian. They grew food. They laughed. They danced. They had connections. Family was exquisitely important to them. And then when the Spanish came, what's really interesting, you hear about how, the Spaniards came and saw glittery, and, they were after the gold. Well, actually, what all that was mica in the clay, which is very sparkly, but it does not have any inherent value like gold, right? So they followed, I guess maybe that's where they get the phrase, all that glitters is not gold. But to the Puebloan people, that micaceous clay is one of their foundations for living, because they built their roads from it, they built their homes from it, all their pottery is that. And most of the a lot of the Puebloan people aren't even into like decorating the pottery, because it's so beautiful just the way it is. It just sparkles. It's just beautiful. So when that first initial wave of European, and in this case Spaniards, came to conquer and take that land, they brought with them diseases that the communities didn't know how. They didn't have immunities built up for that. And it, like in the Pueblo that I hail from, it's called the Picaries. They got smallpox, and because they're located way up in the hills and in the mountainy regions, they didn't have access to some things that the lower Pueblos would have access to. So they lost a lot of their people through smallpox. And then later on, so there's a story generating around these Puebloan people, right? There's now a story of being conquered. So they've gone from being fruitful and multiplying and living happily to having been conquered. Well, it's kind of an age-old story, right? It's like that's what happens to cultures. So, and then there was the government that came in and took the viable men away from the community to go work in coal mines, and sent away. Families were sent away from the Pueblos. Children were taken and put into Catholic boarding schools. And so there was now a new culture of the how the Pueblans saw themselves. And and in the meantime, there were a core group of people who stayed to the Pueblo, adhered to the traditions, didn't stray, didn't go. And those people are very few and far between. Well, that happens to the people I come from, are those people who stay to be on the land, to that whatever was protecting them, they remain. Part of my culture also got swept away in that consciousness of the working for the government, being in Catholic boarding schools. So there's a mix of that. And certainly there was fallout from how, when you disconnect an entire culture of people from their culture, from their families, from their tradition, from their language, and even from their names. They were not allowed to even speak their indigenous names. So everybody got named Spanish names. So it's like, and that's like a story you hear all over the place, right? The Africans have come, they were stripped of their language, their name, their culture, their people, their families. So for me, it's always been really important to find that avenue for reconnection, for bringing back, for having unity, um, and coming back into the family. So I don't know if this is answering your question, Dag. I know you asked a question and I went off on a.
No, 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 no. I think I did understand the question. You answered that. It just now you will keep in touch with those people, or what's
Oh yeah,
happening?
I've been totally invited back. Well, my sister too. I will be back in August to attend their big celebration, festival, and dance. I'll learn more ceremonies while I'm there. I've already picked up the practice of the white corn ceremony in the morning. Basically, that was just really easy because I already do my prayers in the morning for everyone that I hold in consciousness. Just now I go out barefoot to the ground and offer corn to the sun with those prayers. So I'm integrating the old way into what I naturally was already doing. And it's already just the ritual of that has already like landed in me as importance, as sacred, as that reconnection to the the old way of being, not the old way, the original way of being, which was grateful for everything, thankful for everything, um, and invoking the guidance of Great Spirit to lead you in all things. Well, I do that already, right? I just have some. I have my own approach to it because I wasn't trained in that culture. Yet that culture has always been really alive in me, and so now I can bring that to form. So yes, I will go. I will learn more. The one I call Grandma Mary, who she's amazing. She's in her 80s, and she's held by our country actually as a national treasure because she holds the old ways. She remained, and she holds the old ways. So there's some books written about her and about the culture of the people. And it's not like, oh, I love it when, I have friends who spout off, the degrees they have, and they always preface, like, if they're talking about, oh, this person's highly degreed and has all of that, it's like, that doesn't tell me anything about that being, not anything other than they are educated by a certain way. That's all that tells me. It doesn't tell me anything about who they are. So these people, they live in the good way, in a natural way of not non-competition. Yeah. So yeah, it's actually a validation of even who I am, because my I amness became more solidified in me in the connection with them.
I'm sort of you now like realize that you actually been connected to them. You actually done this even not knowing about those rituals and so on.
Right.
You
Yep.
being connected to your roots anyway.
Anyway. Yep. And
Even
like those things were not always accepted in the world, because why can't you just go, be a bookkeeper, or why can't you just go, do that? Well, that's not my calling. That I come here for. I know that part of my coming here is this connection and this unity that I have. I know that, but it's not just that. It's not just with that tribe or that pueblo. It's with everyone. And that's just like, for me, it's like this, it's a beautiful foundational piece that I have now of, oh yeah, I know, it's like that, these knowing things just wake up in me, um, since that connection. um, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, because it's
does
still,
make sense.
yeah, it just, it's like the unity of all humans, right? To wake up and remember who they are, to align more beautifully with their natural flow of being. to release and let go the concept of title and um, that false ego self of it's a false identity that we overlay on ourselves to be accepted in the world. We try to become what others want us to be. We strive for things like I remember thinking about someone talking to me about they were choosing classwork to go to college because that's where they could make the most money. Great
But
sadness.
most people, if you looking at, even when I'm looking in my family, yeah, who lives in Latvia, now there is three youngsters growing up, and already is like I can see the parents trying to pull them to ways where is more money involved, yeah. Okay, you need to learn this and this, yeah. You maybe learn something else later, yeah. But at the moment, you need to learn this and this to make money out of it, yeah.
Yep.
So all is about how to make more money, how to be more successful, how to. I can kill myself, but I have to every year climb the corporate steps. Yeah, I have one client who actually is just in great place, great workplace, uh, getting quite good money. Yeah, enjoying his job, yeah, but now he's thinking about, no, I have to move, I have to go somewhere else just because I'm not getting promoted straight away. And mind you, he's only 30 something, yeah. So he's not promoted straight away. He has to move to different place where is promotion every year. Yeah.
Because that's what he's made as the important thing in his life is
Yeah.
the striving and the succeeding and the it's a I want to say it's a cruel box to live in because it's endlessly unsatisfying. You can get to a point, but then, oh, I got to keep going. I got to climb a bigger ladder. I got to move away so I have more opportunities. It's that can be a rut rather than just standing still and connecting with source and allowing the flow of goodness to just come for you, right? It's a whole different concept. It really is. And those are the people that want to know, what do you do? What do you do? Because then you have something to talk about with them. Beingness is not a concept that they have wrapped their heads around for the most part because they're into the striving, the doing, the competition. Um, but if I look at nature, nature isn't that way at all, and we are part of nature. So when I look at nature, they it's not that. It's 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 not that. When a plant is given everything it needs, the light, the water, the soil, it just blooms. And yeah. So
Yeah, it's like, and if we getting back to those cards what we drawn, yeah,
yeah,
uh, one of cards what I drawn, well, for me you drawn,
yeah,
was this uh, about actually to calm down and remember to relax. Yeah.
yeah. And it's what was really interesting. I got lion and you got a cat, right? And if you think about just the energy of that, I have a cat that lives upstairs but thinks it lives down here, right? So I get to have cat energy around me a lot. And that cat just, I love watching how she goes where she wants, she's investigating, but she lays down and she stretches and she basks in the sun, and she just, and she knows she's wanted and loved and cared for. We could be more like that. And the other cats have this uncanny ability to know what's going around them at all times. They're so connected to everything around them, right? Um, so
They
yeah,
are. I have neighbors' cats. I never have cats in England myself. I had in my country when I was growing up. I always have cats, but in England I haven't. But as soon as I move in, one cat straight away came to my doorstep, and she came and came again, and so we became best friends. And then when she gets old, very mysteriously some other cat appeared, and again she came to me, and again she coming in, and this previous cat obviously is gone already, yeah. But now this cat is always at my doorstep, always coming in. I live on ground floors, sort of like maisonette type, yeah. And as soon as I open back doors, cat is in and sleeping in my bed. I'm coming in bedroom, and there it is, just relaxing, yeah, and purring when I'm coming in, yeah,
yep.
and enjoying herself, and
And
just
enjoying herself, delighting in her beingness, right?
yeah,
No, we just got to stretch and yep. Yeah, and it's interesting that we got two cat cards individually today, and I think it's just helping us get like really connected. And cats, something I love about cats is like they're not out here to please you. Cats do not operate that way. Cats are all about being who they are, and there's no impetus for them to please you.
I like actually all animals, yeah, but I really, if I have to choose, I better take cat than dog, because with dogs I feel, for me, sort of, you getting love from dog, this unconditional love, you getting just for coming home, yeah, or
Mhm.
being there. You don't need to do anything. You can even fight with dog. You can do whatever horrible things with dogs, and I know people who done that, and dog still comes to you and licks your hand, yeah. But cats, no, don't even think about do something wrong with cat. He will make mess in every single corner in your home
Yep.
where
Yep.
possible.
Yep. And I know I used to have this awesome cat. He was Maine Coon and Persian, I think. He was enormous. He weighed about 25 pounds. He had massive tail on him. He was just an exquisite being. If if I had to be away for a couple of days, even though somebody was feeding him and all that, totally cop an attitude like you weren't here to serve me. You weren't, it's like this, they're not here to please us, but we're here to be in service to them.
Exactly. You need sort of gain cat's love and cat's affection. You can't just take cat in and everything will be fine. No, no. It's not
No,
happening like that.
no, no. So to be more, you know, dog-esque behavior is lovely too, that unconditional love, right? But again, you know, that, you know, they have a lot to teach us as well. Um, yeah, I think about the people who do abuse animals. Um, Animals become, even though they may go up to lick the hand, they're damaged. And you can see that in rescued animals that have been so damaged they no longer trust humans. Um, but I know many humans that have damaged other humans, and humans have lost trust. So it's to come back and restore the trust and the love and the remembering of who we are. So humans don't get back into that cycle again. And I'm going for, you know, total enlightenment of all in this time, you know, and um, maybe it's a pipe dream, but it's inside of me. And so I'll just do my part to stay connected, to bring awareness, to awaken, remember who I am. And I invite everyone to come and play with me in that, you know, just um, give up the doingness for a while. Your doingness is not your worthiness.
Exactly, but that's the point. It's sometimes, even when you know this, it's not easy. It's not easy because I know for myself, I do know this time, not human doing, I'm human being. Yeah, and still is from childhood, from all previous years, is this in me. If I'm not doing anything, so I'm lazy. Yeah, you are lazy, you're not worth anything, so you have to do something. Yeah, how come you not?
I'm the advocate of go be and experience self, and then from that energy move into your doingness. What humans usually do are not that. They come from their, I better get busy, I better get to, if I don't get this done by da 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 time, I'm going to be in such trouble. And no, and all that energy surrounding imposed doingness on humans, we get caught on a rat cycle with that. But if you can just like get off the rat cycle, come in, you know, come into your beingness, get into alignment, and then ask for spirit to direct you, right? Direct my hands, direct my voice, direct my eyes, so that we can see and be and experience in a way that is different, and then we make a more beautiful impact rather than out of that, all that fear of I got to get this done, I got to do it, that all that energy. When you offer that to the world, that's what you're offering, and it's broken and filled with fear, and no no one wants no one wants that really. um so
Exactly, exactly.
so
Uh,
it takes practice, it takes commitment. um you know, it's much like, you know, I grew up in a very disconnected from family kind of house, right? From that was what I grew up in, but it's not what I wanted. And so there's a new commitment, you know, and I made that with my sister to value family, to strengthen family. And we don't always know how to do it because we have to keep making it up as we go along, right? Because we didn't know, but we asked for guidance. And, you know, in the asking for guidance, we got the gift of more family, more richness, more understanding of how we became who we are, and what happened to our ancestors and how they became. So like there's this deepening understanding. It's not forgetting about the past. It's seeing the past and knowing that's a part of who you are. And it's there's growth in that. There's a richness in that you can't get in scrambling in the world to get the money or get the house or get the car. you know there's not happiness in that. So
Yeah. And so we came to the moment when we're doing meditation, Morgan.
oh yeah, that would be a lovely thing to do right now. Help everyone move into that. Let's help everyone move into that consciousness of just being. So okay, beloveds, here we go. And so I invite you, first of all, get your feet on the floor. um, know your feet, know your body, know your breath. And so let's begin by together taking a beautiful breath and offering it to our body. And then allow the body to just release that breath, and with it, release and let go maybe what doesn't belong to it anymore. Put your attention on your feet again. Feel the connectedness of you, the bottom of your feet, with either floor or ground, whatever that is that supports you. Feel into that support. Feel into that connectedness. Take another breath in, offering that breath to your body and all the elements that are in that breath, the oxygen, offering it to every cell of your body. And then on the out breath, release and let go tension. Then come back to your body, to your feet on the floor, to where you're sitting. Experience what that feels like sitting and that connection you have to what you're sitting upon. And take a breath into that. Offering it to your legs and your buttocks, offering it to your feet. And then just let the breath go. Experience now what it feels like in your back and in your torso. And your back and your torso are like the core of your body. Check in. Do you got any tenseness, irritability, not feeling well, congestion? What's going on in the core of your being? Connect with that. Maybe giving you some information you need. And with me, take a very conscious breath into the core of your being, offering it that life-giving oxygen and the light of spirit. Let's do that. Let's offer that to the core of our being together. Breathe it in, letting all the energy and the beauty of that breath invigorate every cell in the core of your being, your back, your ribs, your lungs, your heart, your muscles, every fiber, every cell. And when you breathe out, release any tension, release any toxicity, release congestion. And now come back and check in with the core of your body, your legs and your buttocks and your feet on the floor. Getting connected to that part of your body. And now we're going to move up into the neck and the head and the shoulders and the arms, that upper aspect of your being. And just check in. How are your arms doing? How are your shoulders doing? Where you're connected at the torso of you, that core of you. What's that connection like? What's the energy in your arms and in your hands? Connect with that. What's that energy in your neck that holds your head up to the torso, to that core of your being? How's that feel? Or you got any tenseness there? Become aware of where you're connected. And then in the head, what's going on in the energy of the head, this whole upper aspect of your being with your face. What is the face you put forward in the world? Your brain, your hair, all of that, that upper aspect of your being. Connect with it. Just take a moment and connect. And take a breath in with me, offering the upper aspect of your being, your arms, your shoulders, your hands, your neck, your face, your brain, your ears, your eyes. Beautiful oxygen. Let's breathe in together. And on the out breath, release any tension or sluggishness or anything that that would keep you from being fully connected. And so then just put your attention back on your head, your face, your brains, your eyes, your mouth, your throat, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, and what's your relationship to these parts of your being. And then bring your attention back down to your torso, where your throat well is, and your heart and your lungs and your rib cage and the muscles and the tendons that hold all that together. What's your relationship to that part of your being? And then through your buttocks and your legs and your knees and your shins and your calves and your feet. What's the relationship? And invite you, as we have really taken some time to become in relationship with our physicality, I'm going to invite you to become an observer now. And to do this, imagine yourself stepping outside of your body to watch you sitting where you're sitting or standing where you're standing. Take a moment and stand outside of yourself to just take a visual of who you are. Look at all of you, how you're sitting, what it is you view about yourself, maybe even ways you may be judging yourself. Look at the face of you. Is there tension in that face? Is there love in that face? Just bear witness to who you are as an observer of yourself. And as the observer of yourself, of this body that you inhabit, from that observer position, how would you like to integrate your observer self with your physical self? And so make a decision here in the observer position. Perhaps you want to bring more peace to that body. more vitality to that body, more love to that body, more care, more conscious awareness. So, as in that observer position, make that decision. And when you make that decision, take a beautiful breath in and bring the observer piece back in with all the decisions that you have just made. So take a breath with me, bring observer piece back in, integrating the observer with the physical. And just let that integrate in. And maybe you're confused, but with practice, you can begin to bring your observer self consciously back into the physical self. And just breathe easily and gently, lovingly and kindly, releasing all expectations, just letting them go. Coming into that place of just beingness and being in a place of peace in your beingness. And enjoy that. For as long as you can enjoy that place, do so. But also because we are human and we desire to do in our world, ask yourself with which consciousness you wish to be in the world with. Bring this to awareness. Is it a consciousness of love, of peace, of helpfulness, of kindness? Whatever it is you decide, that whatever you choose to do in the physical world, may it be done in this consciousness of being connected to your body and to your observer self. Take a breath in. Anchor your breath in your integrated self. Feel into the relaxation of that. Enjoy it. Delight in the beingness. And as we've been gifted this time to just become aware, I give thanks for this opportunity and the choice that each of us make to just come aware. And from that awareness, we can move in our world as awake, aware, and conscious. And perhaps you might want to even envision what that might look like in your world. And so, beloveds, we are so grateful for your willingness to walk with us this morning in this way, to become awake and aware of your beingness, your physicality, your observer self, your chooser self. We're so grateful for it's this consciousness, this awareness that will bring back awareness and consciousness to all of humanity, all humanity. And so with a loving, softened, awakened heart, I give thanks for this awareness and this consciousness that we have set in motion here this day. And I know that our lives are all blessed because of it. The work that we do for ourselves is the work that we do for all others. And for that, I give thanks. Release us all to go be awakened, aware, conscious, integrated, and connected beings in our world. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who is watching now, and thank you, everybody who will be watching later. Please, if you like this video, please go watch other videos. We have plenty more to watch with great information and great meditations on end of the shows. Also, there is out Morgan's beautiful Course of Miracles. Already is out concept 3. So look up for that. That is great knowledge again. So if you like my video channel, please don't forget like, share and subscribe for this channel and Rumble channel. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week and God bless.